I think it'd be great to connect. I told James, I'm like, hey, that doesn't sound professional. He goes, no, no, you want it to sound. I mean, you're being sincere, but you want them to connect with you. So we connected, and then I just openly said, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm with my family. Got my two girls, live here. Went to A&M, and then you just kind of go, hey, I'd love to help you at some time. And everybody's been, like I said, everybody's been very open to that, and everybody, I haven't had any real kickback or kind of no way. Some people say I'm already working with an agent. I'd say that's great. I've even had two of those come back later on. But yeah, it's been great. I will say this with the account manager to really listen to what he says as far as the archiving, and then use that function of where you can send you like a CSV file. And then I've organized those into 30, 60, 90 days out, a year out. And then I set those into my CRM. And then I'm able to really use that in a seamless way to create a real database. So
yeah, no, it's I mean, again, it's LinkedIn is really how you leverage it. I mean, like so whenever I talk to people about kind of what we do and how we like leverage LinkedIn to generate business, you know, for our clients, they go, oh, you know, LinkedIn, it sucks. I get spammy messages all the time and I can't stand it. I'm thinking about deleting my account. I'm like, no, don't delete your account. Like that's like deleting your phone number because you get a few you get a few robocalls.
right.
I mean, you can totally neglect and like ignore all the different spammy messages, and then you can use it correctly. I mean, if you know how to use LinkedIn correctly and create these genuine relationships from LinkedIn, it is a very powerful tool, and that's what we've seen for our own real estate practice. That's what you're seeing for your real estate practice, and it's just a really great way to kind of create this camaraderie and develop business relationships.
Yeah. And it's I'm really surprised because of the credibility and the rapport you get pretty quickly because of the LinkedIn. A lot of people also have said, oh, I saw that you're connected with this person. So I've gotten immediate credibility from that by the way they do with the connection based. So the mutual friends, they've reached out to those friends or different, and all of a sudden, again, I have real good credibility there. And I'm able to take it offline pretty quickly from that and build that relationship where some of my other social media, we stay on that deal or it kind of drags on and it's really hard to get them offline because your email, everything's right there for them to see on a professional level. So it's been great in that way. So
Exactly. No, it's like the way I like to say it is it's people are able to get to know you before they get to know you. Like
right.
and likewise, you're able to get to know them before you get to know them. And imagine when you're doing like cold calling or door knocking and how difficult it is to like get to know a person and to create that rapport before they hang up on you or before they mark you as spam, right?
Yep.
But what's nice is, you can send out all these messages on LinkedIn. What they're likely doing is they're likely looking at your profile, seeing who you are, who your mutual connections are, what your experience level is, what school you went to, what languages you speak, what groups you share in common. There's so many things that they can get to know you through on LinkedIn. Then they're choosing upon their own volition to then respond to you and to kind of develop that or not,
Right.
right?
Yep. And just with my background in medical, I'm able to leverage that a lot because I have that whole, so they look at that, oh man, we have that in common. So that's part of my B2B. I'm trying to work with some lenders locally who have like the special programs for doctors just out of college, things like that. So I'm able to continue that as well. And then like what we talked about, next step for me is to do a value add. So I'm going to be working with some local charities. What we talked about, sell a home, save a child, that you've done that before. So things like that, where you can leverage that to, take that, use that network now, and then share with that, and then kind of grow your business from there. So
That's awesome. And just so I can kind of jump in real fast, there's some people that are joining our Clubhouse room as well. And if the audio isn't quite the way you want it to be, what you can do is this webinar is live on Zoom right now too. You can simply type in, if you're by a desktop, type in joinzoomwebinar.com and you'll get redirected automatically to this webinar. Or if you're just on your mobile and kind of on the go, which is why Clubhouse is awesome, you can go to my profile on Clubhouse. You can click on my Instagram handle, and then click on the link that will link directly to this webinar as well. So I want to kind of give you the option to like to join the webinar as well. So anyways, it's just one other way of kind of creating activity and creating a buzz around what you're trying to promote. So yeah, go ahead and try that if you want. So I wanted to spend a little time and talk about this new thing that I kind of figured out recently, which, you know, I can't really take credit for, but it's a really great way for our clients and really anybody who is on LinkedIn to generate a bunch of business like overnight effectively. So, and it's through LinkedIn events, which I've never really utilized before in the past. But, you know, from just one kind of promotional push to my connections on LinkedIn, we were able to generate 240 registrations for this LinkedIn webinar, right? And so imagine if you were to create like a home buying presentation or like a rent versus buy, or what's the market doing. If you wanted to create some sort of event, create it on LinkedIn, and then you can automatically invite, you know, thousands of people to that event. And what's really interesting is that, and this is what blew me away, I got about a 20% conversion rate. So 20% of the people that we invited to this event via LinkedIn, they registered for this event. And that's huge. And so, I mean, if you have 5,000 connections on LinkedIn and you invite all of them over the course of, you know, 5 weeks, because there is a caveat. You're only allowed to invite 1,000 people a week. So you have to, you know, if you book out the webinar a month out, then it means you can invite up to 4,000 people to it. But I mean, if you get 4,000 people invitations, that means you'll be getting about potentially, you know, 400 to 500 people at a very modest conversion rate to attend your home buying seminar. It's just so important to understand that. And I'm looking at some of the results now from this webinar, and it's turning out to be pretty good. So let me kind of show you how to do this, because I know, Morgan, we spoke yesterday, and you plan on doing this as well. So let me kind of show you and all of our Zoom webinar attendees how to do it. So I'm going to share my screen. And so I'll just go to this is my homepage, right? There's a little column on the left of the homepage called events. What you do is you'll simply create a new event. You know, obviously name it. So if it's, you know, home buying 101, or, you know, the downfalls of buying during COVID, or whatever kind of catchy. Oh, let me share my screen. Is that better? There we go. So you go here to the events tab here, click on the little plus sign, create your own event. Obviously give it a date and the time, put a cool banner by it, give it an event name. And then once you create the event, which I created one called Leverage the Power of LinkedIn. From here, you can invite all your connections. So you can even filter based on locations. So, you know, for me, it's, you know, Santa Barbara is where I live. So I'll be reaching out to people in Santa Barbara. You can filter based on the school that they went to. So Morgan, this would be great if you wanted to create some sort of like some Aggie event. Yeah. You can do an Aggie event, find them, and invite them all to an event. Industry, if you're going to be reaching out to healthcare people to thank them for their services, or veterans, you can do it that way as well. But what's nice about that is you keep scrolling, and then you can select all. You can select all. I've already maxed out my 1,000 people, so I can't do it, but you can select all, and then you can invite them all to the event. Now, what's nice about that is in a lot of other groups and events, you invite people to, like, say, for example, a Facebook page, and they only get notifications in their little Facebook notification page that Casey invited you to like a Facebook group or to some sort of event. But with LinkedIn events, rather than sending out a notification via their notifications tab, you get a direct invite on their page here. So it'll say, so-and-so invited you to their LinkedIn event. And that's why you can get a 20% conversion rate, is that people actually see the event itself. And then all they have to do is click on accept, and then they're an attendee. So, I mean, Morgan, so how do you plan on using this tool?
Kind of like what you said. So a home buyer, I mean, probably try to connect it to some form of like, I'm going to be starting up a YouTube channel where I'm going to be a local expertise in home buying. Going to do some stuff with as a community expert where I'm going to be featuring local businesses and different things like that. Some of my vendors, like my tax guy, different things. So I'll be able to select that in that area. So whether it be in my Dallas area or my Fort Worth area, select those people on my list that are in that area, just different things like that. Or like you said, the medical, I'm like by doing those programs, those lender programs to target those doctors and different things like that, I can do something like that. So that's what came to mind first when you showed me that just the other day. So I think that it's pretty amazing. So I definitely was impressed.
Yeah, I mean, here's like a little backstory as to how we even kind of created this company. Is my brother and I, we used to do a bunch of home buying presentations like in person at local tech companies. And there's this tech company called Procore, which is like one of the largest tech companies in Santa Barbara. We did a home buying presentation there in person. It was like a lunch and learn. And after the lunch and learn, I went on LinkedIn to kind of like just message them all. Thank you for attending. I then thought to myself, well, why don't I message everybody at Procore and say, if you couldn't attend the webinar, or sorry, if you couldn't attend the presentation, here are, the three main takeaways. Anyway, so I did that for the entire company of Procore that are working and living in Santa Barbara. And we got so many leads, and we got at least 2 or 3 sales from just that one home buying presentation. Wow. And what was interesting is it wasn't the presentation itself that generated the business, but it was the LinkedIn follow-up that did. Someone, in fact, it was the HR director, replied to us and said, wow, that was such an amazing presentation, and thanks for following up. Like, I'm actually looking to buy a house myself. We'll have to see what's out there.
Yeah.
And we got a sale. I mean, home buying presentation is a way of effectively selling your services to a mass population in a very efficient way. And now that everything's gone virtual, like what I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating home buying presentations. I'm going to be targeting the same people, but rather than doing it in person, I'm going to be doing it virtually.
Yeah. And part of what this new brokerage I'm going to be moving to some management positions. So I was just talking with the head broker, and he was like, you can even use that for recruiting other agents. So, and I know we don't have tons of agents on my list because you kind of wanted to, but I think that's a neat way too, that you can kind of grow your business itself in that way as well. So
100%. I mean, like I'd say probably 20% of our clients are using our system to recruit. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I mean, if you're, working with EXP or Keller Williams or these other kind of bigger brokerages that you would benefit from recruiting, or you're just trying to like build a team out, 100%. I mean, like a lot of folks go on LinkedIn to network and to like look for job opportunities. And so if you have this really good custom organic way of reaching out to them and convincing them that your brokerage is the place to go and why, whether it's training or whether it's lead, whether it's equity share or however you want to say it, LinkedIn is definitely a platform for that.
Yep, that's awesome.
So what do you do with the data, Morgan? So because like a lot of folks don't realize that they can get data from LinkedIn. How are you getting it, and what are you doing with it?
So my account manager, James, he was really great. He said, hey, I can send you a CSV file of this. Cause I was like, oh, I need to put this in a spreadsheet. So I was literally taking it off after I archived it and was putting it on manually, kind of a split screen. He's like, no, let me send you. So I took it from there, and I qualified, some of them are like, hey, will do. I'll get back with you later on. Some are like, no, I'm looking right now. Some are like, hey, I could probably do that down the road, or I know someone that, I have them like a hot warm. I kind of qualify them on the spreadsheet. And I was able to take his CSV file, pull that over, and then create a spreadsheet on that I then uploaded into a CRM where I have a system of following up with people based on have them in basically tanks or buckets. And then I'm able to set them up with a certain deal. If they're way out, I put them on a long contact deal. So it works seamlessly with a kind of CRM if you can do that kind of. So that's really neat in that way. To pull that, you have to be diligent about it. I was telling you, um, it's like been overwhelming on some of that stuff, and like I almost need an assistant and sometimes to qualify that and look at that and do that. So I've literally created, to do well at this, you got to have a time block. So I now have a 30 to 45 minute LinkedIn time every morning while I'm doing that. Because like anything else, there's real time sharing and getting back to people and just, hey, that's great. Look forward to working with you down the road, or let me know if I can help in that and doing that. Because if it sits there for 2 or 3 weeks, I did have that initially when I wasn't as organized, it kind of goes cold. So you need to have that and have a system definitely to work. So
that's a great point, and I'm glad you brought it up because it's something that kind of gets neglected at times. You think that because a lot of what we do is automated, that it doesn't require work to follow up, right? But really what our system does is, yeah, we can customize a script and we can find your ideal customer profile, we can find your ideal prospects. We can even open the door for you, right? But the moment that door is open, I mean, it's up to you to then like kind of establish that relationship, create that rapport, and bring that relationship to the next level. And that does take time. And so, and in fact, one of our other interviews recently with Nick Crothers, it was really great. He was saying how he spends even more than 45, he spends like hours a day on LinkedIn, basically just continuing these relationships. And even if they're not even talking about real estate necessarily, all of a sudden, out of the blue, they'll go, gosh, I really got to put you in touch with my son-in-law. He's looking to buy a house. And then, yeah, of course I'll help him out. So,
yeah,
I mean, with networking events and door knocking and all these things kind of like out the door, I mean, the intensity and the effectiveness of online networking is more important than ever. So if you do it well and you take it like it's a full-time job, then yeah, I mean, you can really thrive with it.
Yeah, and I just like, and following up with that, I kind of look for what they call pain and pleasure. So I look for life events, things going on in their deal. So if you're talking to them, like you said, just in a rapport way, oh wow, their kids are moving out of their home. They probably haven't thought of this yet, but they're probably going to want to downsize in the next 2 years. Let's put them on a list. Put on a, you can look at those things that people don't think about themselves. They keep talking about their property tax, or every year they're like, God, this property tax are getting out of control. We're protesting. Oh man, that sounds like they might need to want to, change. So you just look for those things, pain and pleasure of areas, or they want some ways to kind of invest differently than the stock market. So you're able to do that from LinkedIn and that messaging and seeing those things. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, people don't know what they don't know, right? I mean, like
yeah.
it's they don't think that buying a home may take up to a year. And so when they say, I'm getting married next year, so I'm not really looking to buy a house yet. It's like, well, I mean, great. So once you get married, you probably will want to buy a house. And so like, let me talk to you about how the process works. So, and then I want to kind of just kind of relate the whole data part again, because I think that's huge. Because even if a prospect or a potential client is not necessarily looking to buy a house now, it is extremely important for you and everyone to continue nurturing that person until they are ready. And by leveraging their data and kind of providing continual value through email marketing or through even Facebook marketing, that's incredibly important. I mean, I have 17,000 connections on LinkedIn now. I mean, I started with 500, but that means that I have 17,000 people who are getting monthly newsletters from our O'Toole Group real estate account. Right. I'm uploading them into Follow Up Boss, which is my preferred CRM, and every month they're on an action plan to receive emails from us. So, but I always make sure to provide value. It's not just like a spammy email. It's like, hey, here's what's going on in the market. Inventory is low, interest rates are low, it's a seller's market. Be careful. So we provide value. But if you continue to like center yourself as a subject matter expert, and they see you as a subject matter expert on LinkedIn and also on via email, and then even on Facebook, because you can upload that database as a custom audience onto Facebook, and then you can retarget them with ads on Facebook as well. There's so much you can do. It kind of makes your head spin a little bit, but it's, if you do it well, it's extremely powerful.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, and I've even been able to, in doing this, that book, I don't know if you read The Go Giver, like what you get is directly proportional how much you give. And so I've been able to help. There's another guy that was a sports agent. He was trying it. So I helped his business and helped these other people, and it all kind of comes around. It comes full circle. So by doing that, so it's been neat in that way.
Sweet. Yeah, no, it is. And I'll show you one example. So let's see if I can find her. So this is one of our clients, right? She was probably one of the first people that I reached out to using our system years ago. It was about two years. So it was December 27th, 2018. So 2 years ago. And we just sold her a house last February. And it was a $2 million property. So I met with her. So I used our system to, engage with her in a conversation. My value offering was, I'm offering a $4,000 credit at closing. And that if she let me help her buy or sell a home, then I would give her that credit, right? Well, she said that she was moving into town to work at a company, and we met for coffee. And then she wasn't quite ready then, right? She was not really in the market. She needed to get more of a down payment. She might be getting gift funds from her parents or whatever it might be. Well, a year or two later, July 15th, hey, how are you and Dylan enjoying? Oh, this is after they actually bought the house. But a year or two later, she ends up messaging me via LinkedIn saying like, hey, my situation has changed now. My boyfriend and I are looking to buy a house together, and our budget has gone up like significantly, and we're looking to buy a house in the range of $2 million. And so of course I then jump on that and I start showing her homes, and a couple months later we close escrow on a $2 million property. And so it just goes to show how important it is to like nurture leads. And she was getting newsletters from us and constant communication, but it's really important, but it's super effective.
Yeah. Yep. It's yeah, you got to put them on the long deal and then pay attention. I was going to say, I think we had talked about it yesterday in this part of the deal too, of what to even avoid. So as you do this, you're going to get hit up by a lot of people that are other industries. Nothing against them, but your financial advisors, your insurance agents. And so just as you use this tool, just learning how to screen that, there's nothing wrong with being connected with them. But just, I would say that's one thing I learned on the early side. I started having some meetings virtually or in person, and I was like, then you start a whole deal. Well, I'll use you if you use me. And I'm like, well, I already have a financial. So you have to be smart about that and discerning as you grow that database on who you put where, because you just can't be all things to everybody in that regard.
Yeah, and you mean be aware of the notable reverse sell, right? I mean, people are gonna, if you try and sell them, they're gonna sell you. But yeah, but using our system, we can actually filter out. We can filter out realtors. We can filter out loan officers. We can filter out insurance brokers. Whatever you want to do, we can filter everyone out that you don't want, right, so that we're only bringing people in that you do want. So let me take a quick second to kind of give a brief overview of what our system does in case people are unaware. Our company is called MyLink Solution. Effectively, what we do is we leverage LinkedIn automation software. It syncs with your LinkedIn profile. We can then find targeted prospects that you're looking to reach out to via LinkedIn, whether it's healthcare employers, whether it's people who graduated from the same university, whether it's CEOs and executives of top tech companies. We can find them on LinkedIn, and we can then put them into automated connection sequences with follow-up messages. Everything is fully automated and everything's fully customized. So, so for Morgan, for example, we were reaching out to people who were in his alma mater, and we're like saying, hey, I see you're a fellow Aggie. You know, I love, I love working with fellow alumni from our university. I would love to offer you some sort of like credit or some, I forgot what the value offering was, but we engage with them for you on a conversational level. And then once they reply, then you jump in and convert them to a client. But I wanted to also bring up how difficult it could be uh, to reply to all these people, because like you're saying, you get an onslaught of messages, right? But it's really not that difficult to manage if you use a couple of little tricks. And so if you can sort by unread messages, which is a huge little feature that LinkedIn now offers. You can sort by unread messages. And now these are just the people who are responding to you. Now, if you see a good message that you think is like a good lead, someone saying like, hey, I'm looking to buy a house, but not until next year, you'll then want to archive them as like an archive message. And then you can sort by your archive messages. So I check this archive inbox about once a month, just to kind of check back in with the people who I've been talking with over the past few months, right? So it's, simple tricks, tips and tricks, and it works really well. I mean, have you found that to be useful, Morgan?
Yes, it's been great. And then once you archive them, they would still pop into your unread. So it's like if they do come back and message you or whatever. But yeah, that I archived them, and then from the archive, that's where I use that. And I basically, anyone that said, hey, yeah, will do, or I want to work with you, or it could be, like I said, then I use the CSV and funneled them into a spreadsheet, which then I had in classifieds of 30, 60, 90 days out, 6 months out, a year out, a couple of years out. And then I just put, like you said, on a different CRM deal. So yeah, I've been able to do that. I was going to say on top of the alumni, James, y'all are great about coming up with new, I can tell you all brainstorm. So Richardson, where I was located, is a big IT. So during the COVID pandemic, a lot of people, we were like thinking, okay, who's it working from home, or who wants to work from home, or maybe needs a home office? Well, a lot of the IT people moving forward. So then we pivoted, and for that period of time, when that Aggie, we'd done that for a while. We did that for a while, and I got some good responses from that for about 90 days, where we kind of focused on people working from home that might need more room. Now they're like, whoa, I don't like having my office in my bedroom anymore. So what can I do here, or whatever that looks like. So that was great as well. So.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the fun part. I mean, real estate's great. It's fun. It's I enjoy it, but the best part about running MyLink solution is having the ability to really dig deep into a particular client's business model and helping to create the right audience, to find the right audience, and to create the right scripting for them. I mean, there's infinite number of possibilities you can use LinkedIn for, but if you can we can kind of co-create like a good action plan or like a good campaign, it's extremely effective. I mean, one of our best clients, Mel Parsons, out of I think in the Seattle area, she used to be a midwife, right? And so we targeted people who worked in the healthcare industry because obviously you have that immediate rapport. A lot of our loan officer clients, they're targeting military veterans. Like if they were a military veteran in the past, they are able to build that rapport that way. Some of our clients, they message us saying that Amazon just moved in. They're opening up a new headquarters or a new office down in the Seattle area or wherever it might be. And so we're reaching out to Amazon employees who will potentially be moving there, right? And so there's like endless amounts of opportunity. One of our clients was reaching out to a big company that just merged with another big company. So all of a sudden they have a lot more equity in stock money. So, I mean, if you can find your people, which is, the theme of this chat, of this webinar, if you can find your people on LinkedIn, you can like envision it, then we can find them on LinkedIn. We can put you in touch with them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I've seen. And like I said, last year, 30% of my business during what I would consider a down year, and it complements the new virtual world we're already in. So it went hand in hand with that. I did find that my responses when March hit, everything, I started getting more and more responses because more and more people were from home or had that time or they were on. So it just created that. And then I did Zoom calls for all my buyer and listing presentations, and I was doing that way. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. So it's been great that way.
Yeah, no, it's funny. We had to do a pretty mass pivot once COVID started to occur, where our primary call to action, because it's the most valuable, is like, do you want to grab coffee and talk about real estate? But the moment COVID hit and everything shut down, we had to move like hundreds of clients away from that call to action to like, let's have a Zoom webinar, or let's arrange a quick phone call. So we did get a question, which I'm kind of curious too. What CRM do you use, Morgan, and why?
I currently use the Copper CRM. So it's full G Suite integration, which I really like. So it's real robust. It's for all industries, but they have a specialized in real estate. They have a drip, you can do drip mail, anything that they have like their version of Calendly already integrated into it. So it goes right into my calendar or everything. And then on my Gmail, if I pivot over any Gmail like yours, when you send me an email, it automatically pulls up all your contact information, your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, all that. They're partnered with LinkedIn. And so I had all that information there, and all I do is then classify you, maybe add your phone number, and then I have that. And then they also have an app. So anytime I make calls or emails, if I have that app open on my phone, it logs it. So it just took away about 20%, 30% of my time that was spent. I know it's a little pitch for Copper, but it spent doing that, additionally, all that data entry. So it eliminated that. So that's why I went with it.
And so it's called Copper, COPPER?
COPPER, yeah.
Copper, okay. Copper. So if you Google search Copper CRM, it'll come up.
But there's a lot of good ones, but that's just the one I wanted to reduce my extra work of the data entry. I felt like that's where I was getting hung up. I was having a stack of cards or not entering people, and it just, if your CRM isn't full and complete, then it's not really, you're not going to use it. So
exactly. And on my end, I like to use, we use all of them. We've used Top Producer, we've used Contactually, we've used Brivity, and about a year ago we switched over to Follow Up Boss. And there's that saying where it's like, what CRM is the best, and it's like, oh, it's the one that you use. It's like, nah, there are some that are better than others.
Right.
Follow Up Boss has been my favorite. I'm not dissing any of the other ones, but Follow Up Boss has been hands down the best. They have smart lists. You can do action plan emails. They have a template library where you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want. The other cool aspect too is they have a Zapier integration,
okay,
which our system also has a Zapier integration. So we can actually create these triggers, so-called, like a new LinkedIn connection, and then we can then zap them automatically into Follow Up Boss, tag them as like a LinkedIn connection, and then apply an action plan based on that tag.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, so one other kind of thing that might help, but what else? I mean, is there anything else that you wanted to mention, Morgan, that we haven't talked about, or Thomas, are there any questions that we need to answer? Or
I mean, I don't know if Thomas, but yeah, for me, I guess, like I said, the part about this that I really like is so this is phase one, I would call it, is the alumni. So then, like working with you, there's different phases. So I can target, I already have, like I said, I want to work on the medical, then I want to do my value add with the charity, reaching out to that network. So it's kind of like you stretch, and then you use function, and then you stretch your contacts and you use function. So it's just kind of a growing thing. And y'all, like I said, y'all have been great. Your webinars all the time, I've really been able to learn a lot from that. A couple times I've emailed you, hey, I missed it, can you send me that? And you sent it to me. So I would say on that, as far as the customizable and the function of it, I think there's just stuff. I was just talking with James the other day, I haven't even looked at it, is the LinkedIn pages. So creating a page through LinkedIn, and how can you use that to drive through your MyLink solution. I haven't even looked into that possibility of what that could do. So
cool. Yeah, no, pages are powerful. Join some groups, create groups. Just like some other LinkedIn kind of best practices is you effectively want to leverage LinkedIn and as much as you possibly can, and all their assets. And so don't just have your real estate experience, but have all of your experience. Don't just put, one of your schools that you went to, put in all the schools that you went to, all of your credentials.
Right.
Check out some of their interests. You can like join groups that might interest you. Join those, engage with them. Start engaging with like people that you want to be networking with on LinkedIn. Start engaging with their posts. So if someone posts about like whatever it is, like they just launched a new product for their company, like ask about it. Ask them like a very poignant question. The more you engage with LinkedIn, the more exposure you'll be getting on LinkedIn as well. I mean, it's no surprise that when you Google like Morgan Hamilton or Casey O'Toole, one of the first things that pops up is your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
So if you're not like leveraging your LinkedIn profile the way that you should be, you're letting a lot of good business go to waste, because people look at that all the time, and it's effectively your resume. So make it look good,
Yeah, I fully agree. And it's just beyond that, even what you're doing now, like you said, your whole background, you're able to do that. And it's just a shared deal. So I've already gone on, one of my clients, we were talking about a story. So one of mine was an Aggie that she let me talk to her sister, who was a newly married. I helped them find a home. Turns out that she's into social media deals. So what I went on, she went on and kind of gave me a review, and then I turned it around and helped her and her business using LinkedIn to promote, because she had a great page. And so it was like a kind of a win-win in that regard. So that was neat in that way. Instead of just having a client you help buy a home, it all kind of came full circle. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how this all works. And you put out positive energy, put out positive work ethic, hard work ethic, and it does come around.
Yeah.
So let me just kind of, this is a 45-minute webinar, and so I kind of want to be respectful of everyone's time. Let me just kind of throw out where to schedule a demo. If you're interested in learning more about MyLink Solution and kind of automating your LinkedIn prospecting and your LinkedIn lead generation, you can just go to schedulefreedemo.com. I bought that domain, and it'll bring you to our Calendly, where you can schedule a call with one of our account reps. So schedulefreedemo.com. Our website is mylinksolution.com. You can schedule a demo through here as well. But yeah, other than that, if there's no other questions, Morgan, this has been fantastic. I really, really appreciate your time. I'm really excited about everything, all of your successes. And I'm also interested to see how your home buying presentations go with using LinkedIn events.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Thanks for having me on. I'm happy I had a great chance to share how this has been such a great tool for me. So I was happy to jump on and share that with you and your audience. So thank you.
All right, excellent. So if there's no other questions from the attendees, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. And I will talk to you all a little bit later. Thank you again, Morgan. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.